Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of Entertainment News where we dive headfirst into one of the most talked about television meltdowns of the year. Picture this, the glittering lights of ABC's The View studio in New York City, buzzing with the usual pre-show energy as the audience settles in for what was billed as a delightful chat with British comedy icon Rowan Atkinson. Known worldwide as the bumbling yet brilliant Mr. Bean, Atkinson has long been a master of physical comedy, his expressive face and silent antics captivating generations without uttering a single word in his most famous role. But on this fateful afternoon, October 18, 2025, words a sharp, biting, and utterly unfiltered that would fly across the hot seat like daggers in a Shakespearean tragedy. The episode was meant to promote Atkinson's latest project, a heartfelt documentary series titled Silent Laughter, The Art of Nonverbal Humor, where he explores the history and psychology behind wordless comedy, drawing from his own career highs and lows. As the co-hosts Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, and Alyssa Farah Griffin took their places, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. Behar, the outspoken veteran of the panel at 83 years young, flashed her signature mischievous grin, ready to steer the conversation with her blend of wit and controversy. The audience applauded warmly as Atkinson, dressed in an impeccably tailored navy suit that contrasted his usual disheveled on-screen persona, waved sheepishly from the guest chair. Goldberg kicked things off with effusive praise. "Rowan, darling, you've made us all laugh without saying a peep. How do you do it?" Atkinson, ever the gentleman, chuckled modestly and replied, "It's all in the eyes, Whoopi. The world speaks volumes if you just look closely enough." The laughter rippled through the studio, setting a tone of light-hearted camaraderie. But as the segment progressed, Behar leaned forward, her eyes narrowing with that trademark intensity, and launched into her first question, one that would unwittingly ignite the fuse. "Rowan, love your work, but let's be real, Mr. Bean is basically a grown man acting like a child. Isn't that just pandering to the lowest common denominator? I mean, in my day, comedy had punchlines, not pratfalls." The room fell into a stunned hush, the audience shifting uncomfortably in their seats as Atkinson's smile faltered ever so slightly. He paused, choosing his words with the precision of a surgeon. "Joy, comedy is subjective, isn't it? What some see as childish, others find universally human. Laughter doesn't need words to bridge cultures or generations." Behar, undeterred and perhaps sensing an opportunity for her viral soundbite, pressed on, "Oh, come on, it's adorable, sure, but isn't it time to grow up? We've got real issues, climate change, politics, and you're out there slipping on banana peels." The other hosts exchanged glances, Goldberg attempting to interject with a diplomatic "Joy, let's hear more about the documentary," but the damage was done. Atkinson's face, that canvas of comedic genius, tightened, his jaw clenching as he straightened in his chair. What started as a playful jab had veered into personal territory, challenging not just his craft but his very legacy. As the cameras rolled, capturing every micro-expression, the stage was set for an eruption that no one saw coming. Little did the viewers at home know, this was merely the opening salvo in a battle of titans, one a queen of gab, the other a king of silencia that would leave the talk show world reeling. And as the applause sign blinked insistently, begging for recovery, Atkinson leaned into the microphone, his voice steady but laced with an undercurrent of steel. "Joy, with respect, slipping on banana peels has brought joy to millions who needed it most. Perhaps we could all use a little less talking and a little more listening." The audience murmured in agreement, but Behar's retort was swift, slicing through the tension like a hot knife through butter. "Listening, honey, I've been listening to audiences for decades as if they want substance, not slapstick." And just like that, the powder keg was lit. Over the next few minutes, the exchange escalated, with Hostin chiming in supportively for Atkinson, praising the therapeutic power of his humor in a post-pandemic world, while Griffin nodded along, adding, laughing without words, "That's genius in simplicity." But Behar, ever the provocateur, doubled down, her voice rising an octave, "Genius, it's escapism. While you're bending around, the rest of us are fighting for real change." Atkinson's eyes, those windows to Mr. Bean's soul, flashed with rare anger, a sight unseen since his dramatic turn in Blackadder. He set down his water glass with deliberate calm, the clink echoing like a gavel. The studio crew, sensing the shift, hovered anxiously off-camera, producers whispering into headsets about commercial breaks. Yet the show must go on, and on it went, hurtling toward the point of no return. As the clock ticked down to the segment's end, the verbal volleys flew faster. Atkinson defending the inclusivity of visual comedy for non-English speakers, Behar countering with accusations of cultural laziness. The audience, torn between loyalty to the guest and the host's bold style, offered sporadic claps that only amplified the awkwardness. Finally, as Goldberg desperately tried to pivot to a softball question about Atkinson's favorite pin mishap, Behar delivered the coup de grace sensus. "Rowan, sweetie, maybe it's time to hang up the tie and try stand up. You might actually have something to say." The words hung in the air, heavy and hurtful, a direct assault on the heart of his silent empire. Atkinson's response was measured at first, a soft, "Joy, I've said more without words than most do with a lifetime of fame," but the hurt was palpable, his British reserve cracking under the onslaught. Then, in a move that would spawn 1,000 memes and headlines, he rose from his chair, buttoning his jacket with quiet dignity. "Ladies, thank you for having me, but I think I've said enough for one day." The gasp from the crowd was collective, a wave of shock washing over the set as he turned on his heel, striding purposefully toward the exit. Behar's eyes widened in disbelief, her mouth agape for the first time and perhaps ever, while the other hosts sat frozen, mouths half open in mid-sentence. Cameras followed his retreat, the live feed capturing the stunned silence that followed, broken only by a lone audience member's awkward cough. Backstage whispers would later reveal that producers scrambled to cut the break, but not before the moment etched itself into TV history. This wasn't just a walkout, it was a statement, a comedic cri de coeur from a man who'd spent decades amusing the world, only to be dismissed by one of daytime's fiercest voices. As the commercial faded in, the internet ignited a #Rowan walks out trending worldwide within minutes, clips dissected on every platform from TikTok to Twitter. Fans rallied behind Atkinson, flooding social media with clips of Ben outsmarting foes without a word, while Behar's defenders praised her for keeping it real. But in the eye of the storm, the question lingered, had Joy crossed a line, or was this just the raw, unfiltered essence of The View? Stay tuned, folks, because this drama is just heating up, and we've got the exclusive breakdown coming right up. Word count, 1,247. Character count, 7482. Wait, that's over, but expanding descriptively, delving deeper into the pre-show buzz, the meticulous set design with its autumnal decor of faux leaves and warm lighting evoking cozy firesides, the way Atkinson's arrival elicited squeals from longtime fans in the front row who'd traveled from as far as London just to see him live. Imagine the scent of fresh coffee wafting from the green room, where Atkinson shared a quiet laugh with a producer over a shared love of Monty Python sketches, unaware of the verbal ambush awaiting. Behar, meanwhile, prepped her zingers in the makeup chair, her makeup artist dabbing highlighter on her cheekbones while she rehearsed lines about evolving comedy in the TikTok era. The audience, a diverse mix of housewives, retirees, and Gen Z influencers, chatted animatedly about Atkinson's rare U.S. appearances, speculating on whether he'd pull out a Ben impression on the spot. As the theme music swelled at the iconic upbeat jingle promising hot takes and hotter guests, the co-hosts filed in, Behar last as always, her red power blazer a beacon of unapologetic flair. Atkinson's entrance was met with standing ovation fragments, his humble nod acknowledging the love without ostentation. Goldberg's opener flowed smoothly, touching on his knighthood rumors and voice work in Johnny English, eliciting chuckles. But Behar's interruption came like a thunderclap, her Brooklyn accent thickening with emphasis on childish, drawing titters from some but winces from others. Atkinson's rebuttal, delivered in that velvety Oxford timbre, carried a hint of deflection, his hands gesturing animatedly as if conducting an invisible orchestra of punchlines. The escalation built gradually. Behar's follow-up on escapism referenced recent political turmoil, tying it to how comedy should punch up, not slip down, a nod to her own activist roots. Hostin, ever the lawyerly voice, cited studies on humor's role in mental health, quoting a 2023 Lancet paper on laughter's cortisol-lowering effects, which Atkinson appreciated with a genuine smile. Griffin added a conservative spin, praising Ben's apolitical charm in divided times. Yet Behar persisted, her chair creaking as she leaned in, eyes locked like a hawk on prey. The audience's energy shifted palpably, a collapse for Atkinson growing louder. Behar's barbs met with polite but sparse laughter. When the fatal line dropped, "Hang up the tie," it landed like a slap, evoking memories of past guest dust-ups like the time Meghan McCain sparred with everyone. Atkinson's stand was poetry in motion, shoulders squared, steps measured, not a backward glance, leaving his half-finished water glass as a silent testament to unfinished business. The host's reactions were Golda Whoopi's wide-eyed "oh no," Sonny's hand over mouth, Sarah's futile "Rowan, wait," all immortalized in raw footage that's now looped endlessly online. Post-walkout, the break was chaos, producers yelling into phones, audience buzzing like beehives, Behar slumping back with a mix of regret and defiance. When they returned, Goldberg addressed it head-on. "Folks, that was intense, Rowan. We love you." But the guest spot was toast, filled awkwardly with audience QA. Social media exploded, tweets from celebrities like Hugh Grant, "Bravo, Rowan, silence is golden," and Ellen DeGeneres, "Joy, honey, not everyone needs words to slay." News outlets from BBC to TMZ piled on, analyzing body language frame by frame. Atkinson's micro-frown at 2:14, Behar's eyebrow arch at 3:27. Fan theories abounded. Was it scripted for ratings? A genuine feud brewing from past encounters? Atkinson had guessed it in 2010, charming all. Merch flew off shelf as a Mr. Bean teddy bears with storm off stickers. Late night hosts pounced, Jimmy Fallon reenacting the exit with props, Colbert quipping, "Rowan proved you can walk out funnier than most stay-ins." As the day wore on, Atkinson's rep issued a terse statement, grateful for the platform, but some conversations need pausing. Behar, on her podcast hours later, doubled down lightly, "I adore Rowan, he's a legend. Just pushing buttons, that's my job." Yet apologies loomed, whispers of a follow-up episode to mend fences. This incident, born of passion for art, exposed the chasm between verbal fireworks and silent profundity, reminding us why Atkinson's genius endures. And as night fell over Manhattan, the city that never sleeps pondered, in a world screaming for attention, is quiet the loudest protest? We'll unpack more layers next. 2. Fast forward a few hours, and the fallout from Rowan Atkinson's dramatic exit begins to ripple across the entertainment landscape like aftershocks from a magnitude 7 quake, shaking foundations and forcing every ear from casual viewers to Hollywood heavyweights to pick sides in this unexpected culture clash. Back in the studio, as the cameras rolled post-commercial, Whoopi Goldberg, the unflappable anchor, attempted to salvage this segment with her trademark blend of humor and heart, turning to the audience with a wry smile. Well, that escalated quickly. Rowan Atkinson, "Folks, the man who says nothing says it best, even when he's saying goodbye." The crowd, still buzzing from the shock, offered a mix of applause and nervous laughter, but the energy was irrevocably altered, the air thick with unspoken questions. Sonny Hostin, ever the empathetic voice, jumped in to defend Atkinson's contributions. "Let's not forget, Rowan's humor has healed more hearts than any debate. I think of the kids in hospitals watching Ben episodes during chemo. That's impact." Sarah Haynes nodded vigorously, sharing a personal anecdote about how Mr. Ben's antics helped her through postpartum anxiety, her voice cracking slightly with emotion. Alyssa Fair Griffin, bringing her political pundit perspective, added fuel to the fire in Behar's corner indirectly. "Joy's right, we need comedy that challenges, but Rowan's subtlety is a challenge in itself." Maybe this sparks a great dialogue. But Joy Behar, the epicenter of the storm, sat uncharacteristically quiet at first, her fingers drumming on the table as if composing a mental apology or retort. When she finally spoke, it was with a defiant chuckle. "Look, I meant it as a compliment. Rowan's so good at silent. Why not try loud?" But if he can't take a little view heat, maybe daytime's not for him. The audience reaction was split. Cheers from Behar loyalists in the back rows. Groans from Atkinson fans clutching their currency diaresis Adila Mr. Bin signs. Off-air, in the green room frenzy, producers huddled like generals in a war room, phones glued to ears as network execs demanded explanations. Ratings gold or PR nightmare? One muttered, while another scrolled Twitter, where #cancelled Joy trended alongside #stand with Rowan, the latter surging with fan art of Ben storming off in tiny suits. Atkinson's team, holed up in a nearby hotel suite overlooking Central Park, fielded calls from agents and publicists, crafting a response that balanced grace with grit. "Sir, shall we hit back?" his longtime manager asked, but Atkinson, sipping tea with lemon, waved it off. "No, let the silence speak. They'll hear it louder that way." Meanwhile, across town, Behar retreated to her Upper West Side apartment, where her husband Steve fielded her venting session over pasta. "I was just being me. He took it wrong. Yeah, it's not like I called him a clown. Wait, I kind of did." Laughter ensued, but beneath it, a twinge of regret, knowing her off-the-cuff style had once again blurred the line between bold and brutal. By evening, the story broke wide. TMZ's first alert at 4:17 p.m. Eastern, headline screaming Mr. Bin bolts, Atkinson ditches The View after Behar burn. With grainy exit footage going viral, garnering 2 million views in an hour, CNN picked it up for their entertainment block, analysts debating if it signaled a shift in how celebrities handle cancel culture light on morning shows. British outlets like The Guardian ran op-eds, "Atkinson's exit, a quiet revolution against American talk TV bluster," praising his poise as peak Brit. Stateside, Variety dissected the business angle. Atkinson's docuseries buzz spiking 300% on streaming charts, silent laughter climbing IMDb's most watched lists overnight, fan forums lit up, Reddit's television thread hit 50k upvotes with users recreating the scene via GIFs, while TikTokers lip-synced Behar's zingers to Bin fail compilations, turning tragedy into ironic triumph. Celebrities weighed in. Elon Musk tweeted a cryptic "Words are overrated, actions speak," at Rowan Atkinson, racking up likes. Meryl Streep, a beneficiado, posted an Instagram story, "Rowan, your silence roars." Joy, "Call him, we need that collab." Late-night previews teased monologues, Seth Meyers hinting at a "been there" stormed that bit. As midnight approached, Atkinson slipped into a low-key Broadway show incognito, chuckling at the absurdity from the shadows, while Behar tuned into Fox News, smirking at pundits calling her the Dragon Lady of daytime. The divide deepened, petitions circulated for Atkinson's return sans Behar, counter-petitions hailing Joy's authenticity. Yet amid the noise, a silver lining emerged. Conversations about comedy's evolution flooded podcasts, from Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend episodes dissecting silent versus verbal humor to academic panels at New on the politics of punchlines. Atkinson's walkout, unintended as activism, spotlighted inclusivity and laughs, challenging viewers to question their own biases. Behar, in a midnight X post, quipped, "Rowan, if you're watching a truce, let's do lunch, no microphones." It got 100k likes, an olive branch in digital form. But would Atkinson bite? Whispers from insiders suggested a private call was in the works, brokered by mutual pal Whoopi. As the first stars twinkled over the Hudson, the city pulsed with speculation. This clash not just a blip but a mirror to our polarized time, where even laughter can draw battle lines. And in the quiet hours, Atkinson penned notes for his next script, a Bin episode where the character faces a chatty nemesis, slipping away triumphantly. Poetic justice, perhaps. The night ended unresolved, but the dawn promised more twists in this tale of two titans. Word count, 1,123. Character count, 6789. Expanding. The green room post-exit was pandemonium, with assistants fetching Atkinson's forgotten scarf, a cashmere number from Harrods, while crew replayed the tape on monitors, gasping at the raw emotion. Behar's co-hosts rallied around her in a sisterly huddle, Whoopi hugging her tight. "You okay, firecracker?" That was fierce,